Here's a video that I promised about the PYLE PCT-40 cable tester. As I mentioned in other videos, it has multiple different ins and outs so that you can test multiple different cables. We have speak-on, 3-pin DMX, XLR, we have 5-pin DMX, we have 1/4 inch, we have RCA, we have like a MIDI / S-video type connector here. We have Cat 5, Cat 6, we have USB, and we have a bigger speak-on connector here. Plus we have these 2 test leads here on the top. So let's go ahead and jump right in and test some stuff. So just a close-up here, you can see we have some like a legend here that tells, or a key that tells kind of what each pin out means. So basically what happens is, for example, an XLR cable has 3 pins. One is a ground, and then there are 2 signal wires. So there are 8 sets of lights here on this unit, 8 pairs, and basically one pair is one side of the connector, and the other, or one row more or less, is one side of the connector's pin, and then the other row of lights will be the other side of the connector's pin. So we have pairs 1 through 8, and you'll see why we have 8 in a minute. So if we start with an XLR cable here, this is kind of a cheap one, so if it don't work you get to see that, but basically just like anything else, you'd connect your cables in the messiest way possible, of course. Get it all tangled up first. And you can see that right there, pins 1 and 1 on both are crossing through, and the lights are both lit up right across from each other, which means that those 2 are wired correctly. So then if we just move this knob 1 click, then now we have pins 1 and 2 are lit up, or 2 and 2, so that says that that's wired correctly. And if we go to pins 3, those are also going straight through, which means that there is continuity going through pin 3 to pin 3. So this cable would be wired correctly. Now you could do a little bit of moving around on the cable, see if you see any fluctuation, if the cable's been giving fits. You know, you can give it a little move, and if it all stays good, then your cable is good. So we'll come back to XLR in a minute, because I have something else that I'm going to mention. So next we'll go ahead and do the next most familiar cable that everybody's got, and everybody will need to test at some point or another. That is a 1/4 inch cable. Again, as messy as possible. Throw that out there and get it tangled up. Now, something I noticed in this, these cable, or this tester with these jacks are made, and this legend says, for 3 pins, to test 3 pins. This is made for a TRS cable, so a tip ring sleeve cable. And you see here that this is just a normal instrument cable, so it is just a TS cable, which means it's just the tip and the sleeve. So what I think is happening here, which this might be normal and okay, but you see that 1 and 1 is lined up, and it says that that is the sleeve. 1 is the sleeve, so this long part of the cable here. And then it's also showing up on number 3, which is supposed to be the ring. So what is happening is there's 3 connection points that it's testing for: the tip, the ring, and the sleeve. And the ring and the sleeve would be touching right in this area. So the ring and the sleeve are both touching the sleeve on this TS cable. So you're seeing 2 lights light up there, and the 1 light on number 3. And when we go to the 3rd pair, you see 3 and 3 are lit up, and 1 light on the 1. So that's the same thing. It's testing the ring, but it is also showing signal through to the sleeve, which is number 1, because the 2 prongs are touching the sleeve. So this cable is indeed wired correctly. So we have 1 and 1 going through, but also touching the ring, which I just explained. We have 2 and 2. Sorry, I couldn't see the light from where I was at. 2 and 2 lined up perfect, so that should be the tip. And then the last one would be the sleeve, but for this cable, as long as you see the first 1 and 2s lined up, and then ignore that 3 over there because of the other one. I do not have a TRS cable, tip ring sleeve, on me here at the house, but if you had it plugged in, you would go 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. You wouldn't have that weird area there. So, okay, on to our next type of cable. This is just a stereo audio cable, RCA, the red and white cable that comes with everything. I'm just going to plug through the reds, and you see there it only has 2 conductors in this wire, so we got reds going through. 1 and 1 was lined up, 2 and 2 is lined up, and then everything else is blank. So 1 and 1, 2 and 2. If we wanted to check the, and these are tight fittings, if we wanted to check the second ones, 1 and 1, 2 and 2. So this cable is in fact good. Guess we could check continuity, so let's show you this. We're going to test the reds on these leads. So you hear that there's a beep there. That shows that there's continuity. That's what these leads are checking. So there's continuity between the reds. If I were to touch red and white, there should be no noise because they're not connected to one another. Now if I go white and white, we have connectivity. So there's that. Okay, on to the last type of cable. Let me see if I can read what this is. I don't see where it says that it's a Cat 6 or Cat 5. It's probably Cat 5 because I've had it for a long time. But anyways, if we plug this in here, Cat 5 and Cat 6 have 4 twisted pairs, and those pairs separate out into 8 individual teeny tiny wires. So that's why we have our 8, because the biggest cable that we're testing, that might not be true. I'm not sure how many cables these big speak-on cables carry inside of them, but I know that this is probably one of the biggest. I don't know what USB carries either as far as pairs. I think it's only 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we go through this and we check 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4, 5 to 5, 6 to 6, 7 to 7, 8 to 8. So this cable is wired properly. I have one that around here somewhere that the 7th and 8th cable are actually swapped, and you can see that on here that the 7 and 8 would be lit up, and then when you go to 8, 8 and 7 would be lit up. So I didn't bring that out, but you see that this cable is wired perfect. If it were anything other than that, then it would be swapped. So, and actually they will still work swapped. Most routers and things today can correct for that. So technology is amazing. So anyways, for the most part, that's everything there. So we have the last piece here. There's a battery check. So that just tells us that the thing's functioning correctly. It takes a 9-volt battery here in the back. It's got these nice big feet. The only things that I don't like about it are the fact that it is so monstrous. It's kind of hard to carry around, and it has this knob sticking up off the top, which would be really easy to get knocked off if you don't store it well. As you saw in my previous video about the Apache case, I've cut out a piece in foam where it lays in pretty far in there, and there's only foam coming down on top of it, so hopefully we can keep it preserved. You could buy a smaller cable tester depending on what you're doing, just to fit your needs, but I tamper a lot with audio and IT stuff, so this fits my needs. So I said we were going to come back to the XLR here for one reason. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here too, as a full cable tester video. This is the Rat Sound Sniffer Sender unit that I have discussed in my other videos. Comes from Sound Tools. Awesome product. Dave Rat, if you don't know who he is, check him out. But anyways, comes with this card. So, all we have to do here to test an XLR cable is plug the sender unit into one side and the sniffer unit into the other side, and this tells us off of this color or this chart that we are wired correctly. So it says right up at the very top, it says that A, B, and C will all be lit up, and that would be a good connection. The reason I like this also, this here shows that we got power. So the reason I like this also is, say that this cable was a snake and it was running far away, and on the snake side, on the snake side it's labeled number 1, okay? And we plug this XLR into it and we ran it to a drum set, and we just have a big ball of cable sitting there, and number 1 is supposed to be the snare drum, but we've lost that cable. We don't know which one's which, and we have 8 cables sitting there. Very quickly, we can plug this in to the snake or turn phantom power on the board, and then we can plug this into each of the 8 cables. Oop, I'm doing that wrong. Phantom power would be on this side on the sender, and then we plug this into each of the 8 cables on the drum set side until we find the correct cable that has phantom power. So this can be powered via phantom power, and this is the only piece that you need. So it is a pretty awesome product. If you do a lot of sound work, or even playing in a band and you do your own sound, this will save you a lot of time and guesswork by just getting it right. So then the next thing I wanted to show you, if you don't have any of that, you can pick one of these up at any hardware store, just a cable tester. This one particularly is a Greenlee. Not sure the model number, but all we do with this multimeter is turn it on to continuity. All of them should have a continuity setting, and this way continuity means that electricity will flow through it, or signal will flow through the cable, and when they touch, you will get a annoying beeping noise, just like I showed you on the front of the PYLE, which is nice that it has test leads for certain cables, but that doesn't work for XLRs. So with XLRs, say we want to test the 3rd pin, you can stick your lead in the 3rd pin, and then we touch the 3rd pin, and that tells you that you have continuity. So that's wired correctly. Then we can go to this pin over here, which is pin 2. Oops, pin 2. They're reversed in the way they look, in the way they go together. And then go over here to this pin, and that goes right here. And we also have continuity. So, anyways, that is an option if you do not have a cable tester. But for $60 for the PYLE, I think this is pretty well worth it. and it does all your combinations, anything you could think of to test. It's all right here. And then this, I believe, was like $80 some, and it came with a nice little carrying case that I have a bunch of stuff in my Apache case, and it also came with a t-shirt and some stickers. So, you know, if you're just testing XLRs, this is an awesome option. If you're testing everything, this is an awesome option. If you just need something in a pinch, you can go with the cable tester, or you can get online and find all kinds of other stuff to test just XLR, maybe. Maybe it's just XLR and 1/4 inch might be one of the most useful to most people. I don't know if they make just a 1/4 inch tester, but you could use one of these just to test 1/4 inch. If you're a guitarist and your cable's failing, or you think your cable is failing, then you could use a multimeter just to test the 1/4 inch to make sure that it is functioning properly and that it is not your gear that is failing, as in your amp or your guitar that's having an issue. So, alright, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was informational, and I hope you've learned from it. If you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, please put them in the comment section down below. If you like the video, please like it. I'll post links in the description, and I hope you'll subscribe and share this video if you know anybody that needs to see it. So, alright, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.